So we're going to go ahead and start sitting on your chair on a Pilates ball. So go ahead and set yourself up right on top of that ball. And we'll be doing some breath work here while we're doing a little passive release on the pelvic floor. So once you get yourself set up, sitting on your ball right underneath you, make sure your feet are firmly planted. If for some reason they're not, then maybe you need to lift your feet up onto something, maybe some blocks. So what I'm saying is you don't want in any way to look like this with your back. You want to be able to sit with a nice tall spine so that the energy can flow and the breath can flow. So we'll go ahead and start with some shoulder rolls. So roll those shoulders up, down, and back. We'll do that a few times one way, and then we'll do it the other way. So up, around, and back, and then go the other way. Shoulders roll forward or backward, whichever way you didn't go yet. And up and around. And up and around. And then whichever way you went, just one more time, roll those shoulders down and back, tuck your shoulder blades down. I like to place my hands on my thighs, just a nice grounding position for the hands. And then make sure your collarbones are wide. Go ahead and close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And start to breathe as deeply as you can. So your belly will expand, your ribs will expand, the chest will fill at the very end. So it's like a 3-part breath. And then slowly we exhale, either through the nose or through almost closed lips, like you're breathing in and out of, or out of a straw, actually. Ideally in through the nose and out through the nose, but otherwise in through the nose and through almost closed lips for the exhale. Deep, deep breath in, belly fills all the way to the top, ribs expand, chest fills. It's a 3-part breath. And then we exhale from the top down till you're empty. Pull the belly in just a little bit at the end so you're completely empty. And then we repeat again. Inhale. And slowly we exhale. And all the while, you're trying to send that breath as deeply as you can, maybe even down to that pelvic floor. All the while, we're doing a little passive work on the pelvic floor. Some people even feel like a burning kind of sensation. That's normal if it starts to be too intense. Maybe you come off the ball for a moment or two and then come back. Now, as soon as you come off of the ball, that burning or that intense sensation should go away. So if it's just kind of annoying but not hurting you, just be with it. So a couple more deep breaths like that. You're getting energy to that pelvic floor. The pelvic floor, super important part of our whole breathing system. So if our pelvic floor is tight and not functioning well, we are going to be limited in our breath. Pelvic floor very connected with our back stability as well. So keeping that pelvic floor functioning well, really important. Pelvic floor also very connected to jaw and neck tension. There's a direct connection through your fascial system between your pelvic floor and your jaw and your neck. So if there's tension in one or the other is affected. All right, so hands behind your head. We're going to round the spine, tuck your chin. Maybe that ball even moves underneath you a little bit as you round like a cat. And then open and elbows go wide. Lift your chest towards the ceiling, widen through those collarbones, ribs expand, and then we tuck and round again. Elbows towards each other, tuck your chin, exhale. And then when you inhale, we open and expand. And then we tuck and we round. Elbows move towards each other. inhale, open. One more time, we round. And open the chest. Good. And then coming back to that neutral position, release the arms again, wide through those collarbones. Tuck your chin back. So it's almost like you're creating a double chin. And then bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. So my chin is tucked back, not extending up. Option to bring the hand to the side of the head for a little more. If that's too much, you don't need to do it. Just make sure this right shoulder isn't scrunching up as you are doing this. Again, chin a little tucked back. Left hand could either hold the chair or come back behind you to keep that shoulder down. And again, no shoulder rising on the right either. Chin stays tucked back. One more breath. And we release, and we'll do the other side. You can release your chin for a moment, and then again, like a double chin, tuck it back. Left ear to left shoulder. If that's enough, that's fine. If you need more, you could bring that hand to the side of the head. If you still need more to keep this right shoulder down, holding the chair perhaps, or sliding the hand back behind you. Keep that chin tucked back. Breathe. And release. And then we'll just keep the chin tucked back, bring the right ear to the right shoulder, not holding with your hand anymore. And then chin to chest. And then left ear to left shoulder. And then if it doesn't pinch in the back, you can bring your head back, but it's to lengthen through the front. We're not dumping back. So think more of a length through the front. And then we bring it back around, ear to shoulder, and then work on bringing that chin back again. And then chin to chest. We'll go one more time this way, left ear to left shoulder. And then when you come back, you need to, of course, let that chin lengthen up a little bit. And then we bring it back over to the right. And then we come back to our neutral position. We're going to go the other way. So chin tucks back, left ear to left shoulder, chin to chest. Bring it to the right shoulder. And then you'll lift the neck up, lengthening through the front, and then bringing the ear back to the left shoulder. And then make sure you're tucking that chin back again. Chin to chest. Bring it to the right shoulder. And then we lengthen that front of the neck by bringing the head back. And then we bring it back to the left shoulder. Back towards chin, towards chest. And then we'll come back to our neutral position. All right. Let's go ahead and come off of that ball. And we'll go ahead and grab your single yoga tune-up ball now. So we're going to be working to start on the outer part of the right hamstring and even tapping into the IT band, which connects your knee and your hip. So it's not quite underneath me. Hopefully you can see that. It's kind of poking out to the side. I highly recommend turning sideways on your seat so you have space. So I'm just going to be pressing in, almost like I'm trying to wrap my leg around that ball. So I'm pressing in, and then I'm leaning back out. So if you would imagine some tissue, so like a string, a band, which IT band, a band of tissue from here to here, I'm trying to get underneath it as I do this, if that makes sense. So again, it's kind of poking out to the side, and then I'm pressing in. So it's pretty high on the leg right now. We're going to work it down the leg. So it's trying to tuck under almost that IT band, if that makes sense. And then we'll go ahead and move it down the leg a little bit. And then it's kind of, again, it's poking out to the side and I'm rolling my leg over it and rolling my leg over it. Whatever amount of pressure feels appropriate for you, pressing and almost like I'm ironing it out and tucking that ball underneath that band of tissue, pressing in and coming out of it, pressing in and coming back out. And we'll work it down the leg a little more. Depending on the size of your seat and the length of your leg, you're going to maybe not be able to do the whole length of it. You just go wherever range you can go. So we're pressing in. I'm pressing on that, kind of rolling that leg over the ball, rolling it over that ball. So the lateral part of that hamstring and underneath that IT band, trying to tuck it underneath there. A couple more times. All right, good. So we're going to go ahead and move that ball now to the middle of that hamstring, right where the glute and the hamstring connect. I'm going to stay sideways on my seat. I feel like I've got more space to move when I do that. So right where the glute and the hamstring connect, move it around until you find a little something in there. Once you do, you can lean on the leg to whatever degree you feel like you need to. Some people don't need to lean at all. It's plenty intense without the lean. But if you need more, you lean on it, and then we straighten and bend that leg. Straighten and bend the leg. If you have long legs, obviously your range of motion is going to be a little less. You'll end up hitting the floor with your foot. If you've got long legs, I don't, so I can go this full range of motion. Some people like to sit on a kind of a tall bar stool because then they can really get a full range of motion if they've got long legs. I don't need to do that, but your range might look something more like this if you've got longer legs. That's fine. You find the range that works for you. And then we're going to internally and externally rotate the hip by doing this kind of windshield wiper movement. So the foot moves in, the knee is bent, the foot moves out, it moves in, it moves out. Let's do that a couple more times. And then we'll move that ball down a couple of inches and we repeat. So I'm going to put the amount of pressure on there that feels like it's serving me, and then I'll start to straighten and bend that leg. If you're not feeling anything, you need to move the ball, maybe left or right or up or down. If you're feeling too much, same thing. So you want to feel it, obviously. You want to feel something. As long as you're doing the work, you might as well feel something, but you don't want to overdo it. We're not creating a fight or flight situation. We want to have the muscles and the fascia in and around the muscles and the tissue soften. Straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Couple more times. And then we do that windshield wiper. So the knee is bent, it goes in and out. And we're working on some hip mobility here while we're doing a little release for the hamstring. Couple more times. And then if you have room on your chair, move it down one more little bit. If you don't, then maybe you move it back up, or if where you are right now is a place you need to stay, you can stay there. But I'm going to go ahead and move it down a bit, and I'm leaning on that leg to whatever degree I feel like I need to. And we repeat, straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Good. Nice. And we windshield wiper, side to side. Nice work. Couple more times. Okay, good. Let's take that ball out, set it down, and we'll go ahead and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Ideally, ankle, knee, hip on this left side are all in one line. So if your foot's way out here, you're probably not going to feel as much. Same thing if it's way underneath you like this. Ideally, you've got this 90-degree angle on here, and then we're going to start to move the body forward. Maybe you even put a little pressure on this inner thigh or knee for a little bit more. So as you hinge forward here and hopefully feel a little something in the outer right glutes, some people feel the IT band in this one as well. While you're doing this, you want to make sure the knee is not angry. If it is, you might need to adjust how much this is bending. And then we're going to be taking a little stretch on the big toe. So take your hand, your right hand, and pull the toes back. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to pull the small toes forward. So I've got the big toe pulling back towards the top of my foot, and the smaller toes I'm pulling towards the arch of my foot. So kind of opposite directions. So we're pulling, getting a nice stretch in that big toe, and just a little pull down on the small toes. So we're working in opposite directions with the big and the small toes. And all the while getting a release in that right glute hip area. Some people, again, will feel IT band. Some people even feel a little inner thigh on this one, but nothing in the knee. The back should not be the main thing stretching here either. Might feel a little in the back. That's okay. But the main area, the right glutes. All right, release the toes and circle the ankle. You can either use your hand to circle it or you can actively circle it, your choice. You'll go one way and then the other way. Good. And all the while, we're still hinged forward, getting a nice release in the right glute. We'll stay here for 5 more breaths. And then we're going to do a little dynamic movement. So you'll sit up, pulling the right knee towards the chest and rotate your body to the right. You can either hold it with both hands or maybe just one hand, and you can even use the chair to help you move a bit to the right. And then we move back to the forward fold over that figure 4 shape. And then pulling the right knee in, one or both hands, rotate to the right. And then we take it forward again, hinging, whatever degree you can come forward. And then we pull that in again, rotate. We hinge forward. And we'll do that one more time, pulling it in, rotating right. And one more time, we hinge forward. And we'll bring it up. Okay, so we're moving on to our second side. So remember, the first part of this is going to be more of the IT band. Lateral hamstring might be involved as well. So I've got it pretty high, but on the side of my leg. And then I'm going to roll into it. I'm going to press on that leg like I'm trying to wrap my leg around the ball. So I'm kind of leaning in and leaning out. And some of you, this will be incredibly intense. For some of you, you're not going to feel it much at all. Either is fine. Some people, this is a really tight area. Now, that being said, your IT band is supposed to be quite tense. That's what makes your legs function, walking upstairs, running, walking in general. It's necessary. You're never going to completely release your IT band, but it can get over tight for some of us, and that can cause knee and hip pain. All right, let's move the ball down and we roll into that. Good. So one side might be very different from the other. That's normal. Probably your dominant leg is going to be more tense for most of us. Rolling into that. Couple more times. And we'll move it down one more little bit if you have the space for it. And then rolling into that, rolling over that ball, pressing and rolling over. Getting a little bit of pressure on that lateral hamstring, but also kind of digging underneath that IT band a bit. One more, rolling into that. All right, good. Let's go ahead and move the ball to the highest part of that hamstring now, right where your hamstring and glute connect. And we press onto that to the degree that we need to. And then if you're not feeling anything, you probably need to move the ball left or right or up or down a little bit. Once you feel like you've got a spot, you need to stay, straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Straighten and bending that leg, actively releasing this area. And then we do that little internal, external windshield wiper movement of the leg. So hamstrings are notorious for being chronically tight for many of us. There's a lot of things that can cause that. But the number one reason most people have that chronic tension in the hamstrings has nothing to do with exercise. Yes, I know many of us do a lot of deadlifts and squats and all those things that can make those hamstrings tight, but most of us have chronic tension in the hamstrings from our posture. Your body thinks it's falling forward, so the hamstrings tighten up to pull you back up. So if you have any kind of slouch in the upper back or any kind of forward head syndrome, your hamstrings are going to be chronically tight. Let's go ahead and move the ball down more towards the middle of that hamstring, straighten and bend. So how you can correct that is to work on posture, shoulders back, wide through the collarbones, try to get your head back on top of your body, as little forward head phone stuff, computer stuff as possible. When you're in your car, try not to have your head forward as you're driving. Try to keep your head back. All of those things will allow your hamstrings to soften and relax. So working on that, and of course, doing this kind of work can help us move in the direction of releasing those hamstrings. But if you continue with your posture issues, you're just going to become tense again. So windshield wiper, knee bend, internal, external rotation. So even though you're doing the work and when we're done, your hamstrings might feel a little less tense. If you go back to what was causing the tension in the first place, it's just going to come back. Good. All right. If you have the space, move the ball down one more little bit or go back to an area where you feel like you might need a little more. Straighten and bend, straighten and bend. Good. And bend the knee, windshield wiper, back and forth. Good. Okay, good. We'll set that ball down. And let's go ahead and cross that left ankle over the right thigh. As best you can, 90-degree angle on this right leg. And then maybe you're doing a little bit of pressure on this left thigh and knee area. Maybe not. And whatever degree you can hinge forward, you hinge forward and you'll stay there. Make sure you're breathing. And then while we are here, we're going to do the little toe release. So I'm going to take my left hand and pull my big toe back towards the top of my foot. I'm taking my right hand and I'm folding the small toes down. So just working those toes in opposite directions. Keep breathing. Right. And then we'll go ahead and circle the ankle. Still hinged forward. I like to guide it with my hand, but you can just do it with your own muscles if you'd like. I'm taking more passive range of motion for my ankle. So go the other way if you haven't already. All right, so we're going to add in that range of motion where we rotate. So hinge forward, pull the knee towards your body, turn to the left. And we come back to that forward motion, whatever degree you can come forward. And we pull the knee towards the body, turn to the left. We'll do that a few more times. Hinge forward. Pull the knee towards you, rotate. Let's do that 2 more times. Hinge forward. Pulling the knee to you, rotate. 1 more time, take it forward. And 1 more time, pull the knee in and rotate. All right, good. And placing both feet on the floor, let's take the feet wide. And whatever degree you can come forward, fold here. If you can't reach the ground, you might want to put blocks. So whatever degree you can take your body forward. Some of you might completely drop your head down. The crown of the head might reach the floor or come really close. Some of you, you're going to need to put your hands on blocks, maybe even on its tallest setting. So inner thigh, perhaps, hips, perhaps, maybe some in the lower back. If you're feeling a lot in your lower back, just make sure you are supported somehow. So you're not just dangling. I want you to have your hands or forearms on something. We don't want all of the gravity pulling on your lower back. We can work into some gentle flexion, no problem, but nothing extreme. This can actually exacerbate any herniated discs in that lower back if you get aggressive about flexion. 3 more big breaths. It's a really healthy thing for your body to be hanging upside down or be upside down. It's called an inversion. Reverses the flow of blood, but sometimes then when we come up, we can be a little dizzy. So go ahead and very carefully find your way up and just sit for a moment, particularly if you're dizzy. Take a big breath in and out. All right. So we're going to stand unless you're still dizzy. If you're still dizzy, just take another moment. And then we're going to stand behind the seat of your chair. We're going to be crossing the left foot over the right so that both feet are on the floor. So be looking like this with your feet, but you're going to face your chair. You're going to be pretty close to the chair so that when you come forward, you're easily able to put your hands on the seat. Now, if you can't reach the seat, you might need to put blocks on the seat, maybe even on their tallest setting if you're really, really tense in those hamstrings and outer hips. Some of you might come all the way down to have your forearms on there. And then what you want is your back leg, that's your right leg, to be quite straight. The left knee, it can bend as much as you'd like. And then some of you, for a little bit more intensity, might choose to come onto the side of your right foot. That's the one in the back. That's going to create a little bit more through that outer part of your leg, including that IT band. So you can see the focus today, a lot of IT band work. So again, coming to the side of that right foot will increase that. For some of you, that is not going to be possible. So you can see I'm on the side of this right foot. And if it does not work for you, you don't do it. So ankles, or if it's too intense on that IT band, don't do it. My left knee, again, it can be bent as much as I like, but try to keep the right leg, the one in the back, as straight as you can. And you breathe here. If you're not feeling much, you can even separate your feet more and then just really keeping that right leg as straight as you can. We've got 5 more breaths. If you've been on the side of your foot, maybe you put the foot flat again. Now it's going to change the experience for sure. So notice that. It's kind of interesting how something so subtle can really change the experience. Couple more breaths. And then when you're ready to come up very slowly. Again, if you've been hanging upside down, it can kind of make you dizzy. Unwind the legs, ground through those feet. We'll take a couple of breaths in mountain pose. So that's just your parallel feet. Maybe you close your eyes, palms open wide through the collarbones, big belly breath. Exhale. All right, so we've got the left foot behind now, so cross the right foot over. Maybe you start with both feet just firmly planted on the floor, coming down to whatever degree you can towards that seat. Maybe some of you on your hands. Remember, blocks are fine. Check in. What you want to feel is the left, that's the back leg, back of the leg, side of the leg. The right knee, the one in the front, it can bend a little, a lot. You can stay still, you could move. And remember, you could come to the side of the left foot, and that will change what you're feeling. I feel a lot through that outer calf, even into this hip a little bit. It's a little different on this side than it was on the other side for me. And then you know the intensity that's appropriate for you. Don't overdo it. Keep checking in with your breath. If you've been on the side of your foot, maybe you put it back to flat, maybe not. You could separate your feet more. See how that feels. You could try to straighten your front right leg a little more. See how that feels. We'll take 3 more big breaths. Okay. And we'll carefully make our way up. Just a little mountain pose, grounding through those feet for a moment. Big belly breath. Exhale. All right. So we're going to make our way down to our mat, but we're going to be using this chair for one more thing. If you have any issues with your knees or sensitivity, I would roll your mat up, little cushion, or maybe grab something to cushion your knees. We're going to bring our hands to the chair seat and then walk our way back. So the arms are out. Now, some of you might need to take it wider, even have your hands on the sides here. Some of you might need to go palms facing each other. So just play with it and see what you think. Some of you, if you've got one shoulder much different than the other, might need to do this one arm at a time. So the other hand will just come down to the ground. So see what's working for you. It might be one arm, then the other, might be both. So play with it until you feel like you can stay. And if you are doing one arm at a time, go ahead and switch arms. Length through the armpit area. Some of you will feel middle back release. Some of you will feel in the shoulders. Try not to get too pinchy in those shoulders. All right. Similar, but different. And if it doesn't work for you, you'll just repeat the same one again. Elbows will come to the seat of that chair. You're going to need to be pretty close to the edge so that you can have some space to drop your head kind of through. If you have a pom-pom on the top of your head like I do, it'll be a little bit difficult. But hands kind of come, I like this, what I call prayer position. They kind of come behind my head. You could also go palms facing your back. So you can see my palms are facing, thumbs out. So see what works for you. And if it, again, does not work for you, doing it with the elbows, just go ahead and repeat what we did before. So the elbows can be a lot more intense. So it's not going to work for everyone. And then I'm dropping the ribs down, armpit area stretching, palms can face each other, or again, thumbs out, pinkies towards each other, palms facing your head. Some people actually like to hold on to a block, so you could try that as well. That can be helpful for some stability if your shoulders are feeling unstable. So you could try a block. We've got 3 more breaths. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. One more breath. And we release. All right. Good work. So we are done with the chair. You can kind of get it out of your way. You're going to find your way onto your mat. And we're going to be using your double ball. We're going to continue to work on our IT band. Now, I'm not a big fan of just completely smashing the IT band, so you'll never see me roll on a foam roller my IT band. Now, this is a double ball, so we'll straddle that tissue. So maybe I might roll up and down that way with this double ball, but I'm not even going to roll up and down today with you. We're going to put it right by the knee and we're going to lay on our side. So it's above the knee on the side of my leg, and then you lay yourself down. So 2 options here. One or both legs are moving. If you're doing one, you can put that top leg behind you or in front of you, whatever's more comfortable. And then you straighten and bend the right leg. That's the one on the balls. So I'm laying on the right side. The balls are underneath my right leg. And I call it a mermaid kick. I'm just kicking. And I call it a mermaid kick because the true version is 2 legs, and that kind of looks like a mermaid. But that can be really too much for some people. So you can try one leg, And of course, the more you're leaning onto those balls, the more intense it will be. The more you're kind of leaning away from it, of course, the less intense it will be. So you control this. So you have all the control. If I'm leaning forward and I've got my legs stacked, whew, yeah, I feel that for sure. But if that's too much, I might take that leg away, or maybe I just put my knee on there. So it's not the whole weight of the leg, but only a portion of my leg, top leg on there. Just a little kick, straighten and bend. And I don't know if you can see the angle of my body. I'm not in one straight line. I'm going to angle this way so you can see maybe a little better. I kind of look a little bit like the letter V. So I'm not completely straight. My legs are kicking a little bit in front of me. That's going to make it not so uncomfortable on that bottom hip also. If you've got a hard floor, it could be pretty uncomfortable. Okay, so you can either keep kicking or maybe you just find a place where you want to stay and take a few breaths. That's also fine. You could also do a little shimmy. So I'm just kind of with straight legs, just moving my legs front to back, or again, it could be just the one leg. And again, this can be pretty intense. So really just take care of yourself. Just going to the intensity that feels appropriate for you. All right, good. So we're going to come up and we're going to move those balls now to the top part of the IT band. So we're affecting the top and the bottom, which will address the whole thing. So balls up there, way up high on my hip. And now I am going to do a little push and pull. So push and pull, push and pull. I'm using my bottom leg. My top leg is behind me. And I'm just pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. It is rolling over some bones. That's fine. These balls have some give, so you shouldn't be bruising yourself. If you bruise really easily, I can't promise you you won't bruise yourself, but that's not the goal. It is by no means the goal. Push and pull, push and pull. You could even pause here and do some bicycling out of this bottom right leg. You could also do kind of a clamshell thing. So again, I have those balls this way on my hip at the top. So that attachment point of the IT band. So IT band iliotibial tract. That's what IT band or IT band iliotibial tract stands for. So that iliac crest is up here. The tibial crest is down there. Iliotibial band. And it is a bundle of tissue that connects those two. So you can imagine if there's a lot of tension in there, if it's over tight, it could affect the knee or the hip. Couple more times, clamshell, bicycle. You could just roll front to back or up and down, whatever seems like it's serving you. That's what you do. And we'll start to come off of the balls and make our way to our second side. So again, right above the knee on the side of the leg. I'm a little bit shaped like the letter V, so I'm not in a straight line. The legs are a little in front of me. I would try one leg first before you jump right to both legs. And remember, you control this. If I'm rolling more towards my belly, that's a lot more pressure than if I'm really just staying on my side. You could support your head with a block or a ball or something if you need a little support. Don't strain your neck while you're trying to release your IT band. Straighten and bend. One side, usually very different than the other for many of us. It's going to be a very different experience. And I can tell you, if you have knee issues, it's very, very, very likely that your IT band is playing a role in the knee issues. It pulls the knee out of alignment so it doesn't track properly. You could do a little shimmy with one, or maybe it's both legs. You could also just simply find a spot where you Just stay and breathe. Sometimes that's the ticket, just pausing and breathing and letting gravity do the work for you. All right. Let's go ahead and move those balls to the top. So again, they're this way on your leg. And maybe you just push and pull on there. Use my arms, using my other foot. You could just pause and breathe. That's another option. You could bicycle out the leg. You might want to put one hand behind you so you don't fall off of those balls. You could do a little clamshell kind of thing with the bottom leg. All of these are just suggestions. You really know what you need. Maybe what you need is to just pause and breathe. Let's take 3 more breaths. Okay. And we'll come off of those balls. All right, so you're going to be laying down on your back. Please have a block nearby. You'll be using the block underneath you. So you'll lay yourself down. Let's put the block underneath your tailbone. And once you have that situated, make sure it's where it needs to be. Bring your knees in towards your chest. And then from here, we've done this a few times. You're going to draw circles. I like to guide it with my hands. So you kind of go into like a butterfly position. So knees out, feet in, and then you bring those knees back towards each other. And you're making a circle with those hips. So we'll go ahead and do that one more time this direction. And then let's go the other way. So knees move towards you, away from you. If you're going the same way I am, and kind of like a butterfly position. And just circling around nice and slow. Good. And then pausing with your knees right over your hips. We're going to work on some internal and external rotation. So as best you can, keeping the hips tipping towards you so nothing comes into the back, knees together, feet out, and then knees move towards each other. See if I can give you a different angle so you can see. So feet towards each other like a butterfly, knees together, feet out. So we're just working on some internal and external rotation into those hips, feet towards each other, knees out, knees towards each other, feet out. One more time. Good. And then very carefully put your left foot down on the ground. Pull your right knee into your chest. And then go ahead and extend your left leg out. So the left hip flexor is being affected here mostly. Some of you also feel the right hamstring. We're pulling that right knee as close to your body as you can so that you're almost, well, you're tipping your hip bones towards you. Maybe this left heel touches the ground, maybe it doesn't, but just relax that leg. So you're not holding it up. You're relaxing the leg so that gravity can do the work for you on your left leg. And then place your left hand on your left hip to keep it grounded. And you're going to draw some circles with the right knee. So I, again, like to guide it with my right hand. We'll go one way and then the other. And then pull the knee as close as you can again so that you get a little bit more intensity on this left hip flexor. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then you'll slowly rebend the left knee so that the sole of the foot is on the earth. And the right knee will come out. So focusing more on the inner thigh. You can keep the knee bent or you can take it out straight. Option to take it out straight. If you're doing that, maybe you choose to use a strap. So we're working on the inner thigh on the right side. I really recommend this left knee pointing a bit to the left so you don't fall off of your block. So again, option, knee can stay bent and take it out to the side. You could take it out to the side and just hold it if you're able to reach your ankle or your foot. And then you could also use a strap. Just make sure your knee and your ankle are pointing the same way. If you're really tight in your inner thigh, you might notice your knee pointing in and your toes pointing out. You only get to take the leg out to the degree that that knee is pointing in the same direction as the toes. So if you let the knee fall in and the toes go out, we're doing a lot of that same thing that causes pain in those knees. We're not tracking properly. So really get that knee and toe pointing the same direction, same angle, inner thigh on the right side. You might also feel the left side because that left knee is falling to the left. Let's take 3 more breaths. After your third breath, you'll start to find your way back to center. And then the left knee is pointing towards the ceiling. So that's the foot on the ground side. Try to get your right leg as straight as you can get it. That might mean the angle of this leg changes. So the leg is as straight as you can get it. Take the strap if you're using a strap, and I recommend a strap for this one if you have one, and you're going to hold it with your left hand. If you don't, you can just take a hold of your leg and move it with your left hand. Strap can be really nice though. And then we're taking the leg over to the degree that you feel a stretch in the outside of this right leg. So the leg has to be straight for this to work. If it's bent, you're not going to feel it. So maybe that means your leg is way out down here. That's fine. You're going to take the leg over to the degree you need to feel it here. In no way am I taking this into my back. As soon as you feel it in your outer hip, outer calf, some people feel it on the side of the knee. That's it. That's as far as you get to go. Try to keep your hips pointed towards the ceiling. Couple more breaths. And again, if you don't have a strap, you can just hold this leg over like this, or even just let it go there, but really keeping that leg straight, even pulling the toes back towards the shin a bit. So if you don't have a strap, you can either hold the leg or just let it hang out there. All right, go ahead and bring that right foot down to the ground. Rearrange your block if it moved somewhere you didn't want it. And then you bring your left knee into the chest and the right leg extends out. Hip bones are tipping towards you, not away from you. Passive lengthening in that right thigh, hip flexor area. And then making some circles with your left knee. I usually hold it with my left hand, put my right hand on the ground so I don't fall off my block. And then we go the other way. And then pulling that knee back in, maybe a little closer. That right heel might be on the ground, it might not. Just letting gravity do the lengthening for you, not making any effort on that right side, just letting it happen for you. Right, rebending your right knee, sole of the foot on the earth, taking the left knee out. Maybe you keep it bent. Okay. Some of you might take it out straight. Perhaps you just hold your leg. Perhaps you use a strap. Strap can be really nice. And let that right knee fall to the right so you don't fall off your block. It's going to help counterbalance you. And remember that left knee and foot need to point the same direction. So if you're really tight in your inner thighs, you might notice your knee pulling this way and your toes pointing that way. That's a really good way to twist your knee. So let's not do that. So knee and toes, ankle pointing the same direction. Inner thigh lengthening on your left side, of course, but a little on the right as well. And don't be afraid to keep the knee bent. If you're really having a hard time keeping the knee and the ankle in one line, keeping it bent might be a better choice for you. You can just support it, hold it with a strap, with your hand, whatever works for you. As long as you're feeling this inner thigh and maybe some on this side too, you're good to go. Couple more big breaths. And guiding that left knee back in, and then the right sole of the foot back down onto the earth, knee points towards the ceiling. I do highly recommend a strap for this one. If you have one, I'll show you how to do it. If you don't, this left leg has to be straight for this to work. And pulling the toes back towards the shin can be helpful as well. So that might mean that leg is out here, and that's okay. For some of you, it's going to be up here. Guiding that leg across to whatever degree you can guide it across till you feel something out here. In no way is this a back stretch. This is outer hamstring. Some people feel ankle, calf, outer knee. Some people feel all the way up into the hip and maybe the side of the lower back, but no way is it a big, like all the way across trunk rotation kind of a stretch. If you don't have a strap, you can hold your leg or just let it hang out there. It's more of an active release if you're not supporting it. And that can also be fine. Pull those toes back towards the shin. You're going to feel a little more. 3 more breaths. And we'll guide that leg back up, setting that foot back down. Take a big breath in and out. Let it go. And then we'll take a full body stretch here to the degree that your body is okay with it. Perhaps both legs go all the way out straight. That doesn't work for you. Keep them a little bent. Perhaps both arms reach long over your head. So as long as you're not feeling anything sharp in your lower back, you can keep this full length here. If your lower back starts getting cranky or your shoulders, you might need to change. Maybe the arms are more out than up. Maybe the knees are a little bit bent. So you take care of yourself. Take 3 more breaths. Very carefully start to make our way out of this and into your final rest. Whatever you need to do before you take your rest. I like to teepee my knees towards each other and take a few cleansing breaths. And perhaps I keep my knees here, or perhaps I find my length of my legs and take a more traditional Shavasana. Or whatever you're choosing, go ahead and take your biggest, most expansive breath and then let it go. Thank you for joining, my friends. Namaste.